What is good, YouTube? It's your boy, Big Money Basco, or as y'all know me, Trey. Because this is on the family channel. I haven't made another channel yet, with a different, name or whatever. So as y'all know, I'm Trey. But today, Lex is not here. OG Lex, whatever y'all want to call her. She's not here. Today we have. What would you like to be introduced as?
Who I am?
Like you don't want no flavor, like no style, just
go ahead and start me up.
Hey, today with me I have T Mac, Mama Bear. She been with the jit since he was a jit. So today I want to do like a little different video. Hey, as y'all can see, I'm still married. We've been in this thing strong. I got a little drippy drip. Ain't that right, Mom? You like the drip?
Mm-hmm.
See, Mom, she get that from me. Anywho, today I want to talk about this movie that I watched, and that movie would be
Soul.
Soul. So Soul is a Disney. It's with Pixar, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Disney. Is Disney and Pixar together?
They are.
So it's a Disney Pixar movie.
Right.
And okay, so when you think of Disney, tell me what you think of when you hear a Disney, like a Disney movie.
Well, I'm coming old school, so when I hear Disney, I immediately think of Lion King.
Okay, so like childish, like, well, not childish, but more
For kids, on a kid level.
yeah, the audience of children.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, so actually Valencia or Lex, that's her government in case y'all didn't know.
She gonna get you.
Anywho, apparently she don't like the name Alexis, but we ain't gonna get into that. She the one who referred me to watching the movie. So what's the first scene you remember?
Oh my God, you put me in the hot seat.
All right, I'm gonna say something and then you jump in.
The first thing I remember, is him teaching.
Okay, so it's a black man. I'ma just, it's a black man. And in most Disney movies, I'm not trying to be racist, but you don't see a lot of black characters.
Speak on it. You're
like,
right.
We had Princess and the Frog.
Name another one.
We had
Right.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Disney. That's it. That's all I can really think of.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, Disney don't really be rocking with.
I mean, unless you go back to Lion King and just think about the voices of
but
Mufasa and the family, there's no faces.
They
to
got
it.
us voicing over animals, like they wasn't showing like black people.
Exactly.
So this is like the first Disney movie I can strongly recall because I just recently watched it that has a black character in it. So it's a black teacher, a music teacher. I don't think it's like a band. I think it's just like a music class.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into the class, and you just hear instruments, music, and he's directing everybody. And not gonna lie to you, it wasn't sounding that good. It was sounding a little poo-poo. But when something's your passion, you're gonna work hard to make the best out of it, right? So then in the first little scene or whatever, it comes to one little girl, and it's her solo, and she was killing it. I ain't gonna lie about herself. She was getting into it, and okay, that's how it first come in. So I'm like, okay, it's animated. It got kids. It's in like a school setting. Okay, it's gonna be about some kid relatable things, and
right.
Then the next scene. What's the next scene?
Wait, I don't know. I'm gonna run back.
Okay.
So, the scene with the little girl where she's playing, and she just goes off somewhere else while she's playing. Like that part really spoke to me.
Mm-hmm.
About having a passion and how it may be something that's not popular and it's not cool. It wasn't cool to the other kids around her. The fact that she was so into it. But that was one of the first takeaways for me.
I can agree on that because you know, popular things, you know, have a big audience, but things that are not as like known or like dabbled into, like reading or chess or like things like that, um
You tend to be ridiculed because you stand out, because you're different than the popular thing, because you're
yeah.
pursuing something different than everyone else.
So she was really feeling it, and you know, that's like the first insight. I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing, as you would say. You know, back when I was in high school, you know, we used to talk about foreshadowing and
All right, pull it back now.
footnotes, and you know, hey, anywho, that foreshadows something to come later in the movie, which we'll get to. But okay, so you know, this whole first scene, you really trying to fill out the movie, see what it's about, and then next thing you know, I think the next scene I remember is him going to his mom's salon.
Yeah.
And that's like that's a really clever way to like show African American, you know, culture, I want to say.
Yeah. I
Like
think so.
a hair salon. Like when you think of African Americans or you know black people in general, you think of like a certain type of music, a certain type of setting, like a barbershop or a salon, or like, you know, just a environment that is like warm and talk, you know, it's like a bunch of conversation going on. So the next scene, that I think that's the next scene after that, is him going to his mom's salon. And there he's talking to his mom and she's talking to him. Oh, I forgot. When he was after school, he got pulled out of his class by the principal.
Mm-hmm.
And the principal has told him that he is now going to be working full time as that music teacher that he was at, or that he was, the job he was working already, he was going to be full time instead of part time. And you could tell by like the tone of his voice and everything about him that he wasn't really thrilled, because this isn't what he really wanted to do. It's just like a pastime because it has something to do with music.
Well, and I think that's another key point in the movie, is that he felt a way internally, but externally he responded in the way that would be acceptable. Like, you're supposed to be excited to have this full-time position in this job that, even though that's something, music is something that you love, you're not really sure about this teaching thing. And so when they pick that up in the beauty shop with his mom is thrilled.
Exhilarated.
That's it.
I am using my big words today.
I like that vocabulary.
But she was happy, but you could tell by the way he accepted what the principal told him that inside he wasn't happy. Like, it's like you, like, say you giving me like a quarter, and I'd be like, oh yeah, thanks.
Raised at that.
Yeah, like what? Like, I don't want this. Like, so he talking about that or whatever, and then his mom is happy about it because he goes to her shop and tell her about it, and she's happy because it's a stable
paycheck. That's it. Steady paycheck. And you have to think too about that generation of parent. Like, how old would you say his mom was?
60.
Right. So for a person in their 60s to get a position like a teacher or a nurse, or, you know what I'm saying, like a stable job, that was a huge thing.
The goal.
Yeah.
So she's happy, he's not, and she knows the reason he's not because she knows his wants. I feel like, you know, mothers know their children.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good review to do with my mom, because his mom is in the movie and she was a bigger role, I guess you could say, as far as like
influence on him.
Yeah. So get to the salon, all that is over with. She's upset because he's not happy with what she's happy with about him getting a position or whatever, because he has bigger aspirations and dreams.
And before he leaves, what does she say to him about what he really wants to do?
he gonna get hyped up about it, and then it's gonna fall from under him. Pretty much, right?
Yeah,
That's
and,
what I.
and that's not a real job. You know.
That's what she said, didn't she?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of children of today's generation feel that way with certain things that they want to pursue, like music, acting, modeling, like certain things, you know, that aren't really realistic to a certain mindset of people, like the parents and everything. So she tell him like what she really telling him like what he want is unattainable, or it's attainable but it's gonna last for like a short period of time. So
that's deep.
He leaves and he's walking home, I believe, and he gets a phone call from one of his past students. His student tells him, hey, teacher, you know, you was one of my favorite teachers in school. I know you love music. I got this opportunity for you to come play with this big name musician.
Right.
And this man goes berserk. He's running in traffic, knocking people over, going crazy. And then he's running across the street and a car comes. And you thinking, okay, he getting out the way of the car, he gonna be straight. He get out the way of the car that's coming really fast. I think this was a setting in New York. Ain't that right?
It seemed like it to me.
I think it was New York. So, you know how New York traffic is, cars flying, honking, birds, pigeons, everything. And this man runs into a sinkhole, or ain't that what that's called? Like like the little metal circle in the road.
Right.
Because it's open, you know. New York always doing some construction.
Manhole, that's it.
Yeah, a manhole. So he falls. And the next scene, I'm thinking, okay, we about to see him down there, and we about to see how he get out and everything. And this is what blows my mind. Like when I said, how do you feel when you think about Disney? I'm thinking about kids and how kids gonna look at this. Next thing you know, this man is on the elevator to heaven, pretty much.
Right.
That's how I can explain it. Like, it's a conveyor belt, all black around him, and it's this one big light at the end of the tunnel, pretty much, or I guess you could say. And his soul. That's where the soul part ties in. And I'm like, when I think about when I thought about Disney and music and soul, I'm thinking about like soul, like
a soul musician.
Yeah, like Louis Armstrong and da 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 and jazz and soul. But this is talking about a deeper soul, like in your body soul, like. So that caught me off guard. And then he's there and he's like, what am I doing here? What is this? And he's asking the other souls around him. He's like, am I dead? And they're like, I forgot what they say. But they telling him it's his time to go to the great beyond, as they put it.
Right.
And I was like, what? Why is this a kid's movie? Because I'm an adult. And I'm looking for jokes and laughs and kids things. But I see souls
and
going.
And there was some comedy in the movie, but it was a deep topic. It was a very deep topic. But you know, like Pixar movies, when I was a kid, Disney movies were for kids. Mm-hmm. But in recent years, movies are made as cartoons, but it's for adults. And kids oftentimes miss the deeper message of the film because it ain't really made for them, but you get them with the animation. You know what I mean? So I think that was definitely what happened in this movie.
So he's pretty much in like the in-between stage of living and dying. It's like he's not fully dead, but he's on his way to being completely out. Because as like you get along a little bit, they find out why he's there, and he finds out he's in this hospital bed from falling in the manhole or whatever. And he's trying to get out because he like, no, this is my big moment, because he got the call from the big name musician. And he like, I gotta live this. I gotta see where it takes me. This is my big break. This is what I've been wanting, my passion, my purpose, and everything like that. And so he jumps off the conveyor belt to go to heaven. Pretty essentially, that's what it is, heaven, right? Or wherever you believe you go once it's that time.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to run in the opposite direction. I guess thinking he can go back to his body or back to Earth, and he just drops off into this other place. It's
like a grassy, relaxed, calm, like it looks like a good place of relaxation.
Yeah.
So he's scrambling around. He like, what is this? Why am I in this soul, in this realm of, I don't even know what to call it. Like,
in this realm is like,
that's
good.
What it is.
Yeah.
So he's running around asking questions. Where am I? What is this? What, like, and I think the person,
he runs into this lady.
Lady.
Did she have a clipboard? It seemed like she had a clipboard, and she's walking, and the other, I can't even call them people.
Souls.
The other beings, right, that are around are starter souls.
Kids. Yep. Essentially kids that haven't lived yet. Haven't had a life. So they like getting all the badges. I think that's how they put it. Badges.
And that part was crazy to me. That she was like, you're gonna be narcissistic. You're gonna be.
I was like, kids?
You're gonna have anxiety.
I'm like, wow.
Like, this is your personality. And it says, like, you don't think your personality is something that you develop or that you're born with. Like, it's assigned
to you. Like, this is like, yep, you're gonna have a hard life. You're gonna be this and that.
So the Christian in me had real issues with that. Like, you done predestined that this person is gonna have live in agony or, have, I don't know. It was crazy.
So he finds that place and he's asking this lady questions, and she's trying to explain it to him like, this is the place where everybody starts off, where you find out who you are, this and that. And I'm like, I'm still stuck on like, how is this a kid's movie?
Right.
So all that said to say, he slides by. He's supposed to go back to the road to heaven or wherever.
Right, the big conveyor belt.
And he grabs this name tape because it's a bunch of souls there that have, I think they died or something happened, and they supposed to be mentors to the newer souls or whatever that are coming into the world. So he gets in there, he goes through this seminar or whatever, and he gets assigned a soul. And his soul's name is 22, I think. I want to say 22.
Yeah.
So he gets this soul, and so many people from the past has tried to mentor this soul, and it's just
not just ordinary people though, like Mother Teresa.
Yeah, like real historians like Abraham Lincoln, and
I want to say it was like Einstein or somebody like that. It was all historical figures.
So all those people tried, failed, All right, on to the next one. So the badge that he has is somebody who's I think he's like a psychologist or some doctor, some high accomplished man, and he's taken the soul with him through that man's life, and he's like, this isn't my life, this not who I am, this wasn't me. And then the other soul, she's been there, she know the ins and outs because she don't want to get out. So she takes him to this place, and then he finds his own life, and he's looking at it, and it's a life of disappointment, as I would want to define it as. Like, it's memories of him sweeping, being in school, not happy, sitting at home watching TV, like just boring, like no accomplishments whatsoever. So this just gets him even more like pushed to want to get back to his body so he can accomplish more things, and he can say he lived and did this and that, because he's seeing all these things from his past, and it's like boring. Like why was he even living in the first place? So, what else?
But specifically, to be able to perform with this superstar, that has the band, I guess, group,
Jazz band, yeah. So that's why he want to get back. He sees all this and he's like, if I can just get back, I can change all of this. I can make myself, more known, have like more awards, more accomplishments, do more with my life. So he's going through and he has to help this soul find its last badge, like what makes it complete. And then once the little circle is complete, they get a little earth patch, and that's when they can go into earth and be born and start living. Right. So, anywho.
But the soul that he's assigned is who goes back into his body. And he's in a cat?
Yeah, so, we was working today.
Sorry.
So, he's showing her all these things. They not finding her niche. And then she takes him to this wacky, hippie kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And he's driving the ship through the ocean of depression. I don't know, something like that. And it's crazy because you just see these big, monstrous...
No, that's after.
No?
That's after.
What's after?
That part is after the 22 is in.
No. They go through the little ocean of... They go through the ocean of, like, depression or whatever, and they see these big globs of, like, anger and sadness, and... what's the dude's name?
Souls.
His name is Joe?
I think so. Yeah. The main character.
Yeah, I think his name is Joe, if I can recall. If not, y'all can watch the movie. But he's like, what are these things? Like, and the soul who's been there forever is telling him these are people who, like, gave up, or, like, they just got lost in failure and this and that. Because, like, okay, they found one, and he's covered in, like, this big sandy type, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a outer body type thing. Like, it's not him. He's just covered in it. Mm-hmm. And then they wipe him out of it somehow. And you see this guy whose soul that was, and he was at work, just depressed, doing his normal thing. And he just gets this look in his eye. He's like, what am I doing with my life? Like, why am I? And then he slaps everything off the desk and he leaves out and he goes to, like, achieve whatever. As far as I know, that's for you to determine, really, because they got him out of that, depressive state, sad, failure type thinking.
He was in a rut.
Yeah. So, after that, Joe is trying to figure out how he could get back to his body. So, the little hippie dude helps him find where he's at in the world. They open up this little circle. And in the circle, you see Joe in the hospital bed with a cat on his lap. And Joe is so eager to get back to his life. All he had to do was just wait just a little bit or whatever. Because the hippie dude knows, like, how to do it and everything. Joe gets out of pocket. He's holding on to 22. Or, no, 22 is trying to stop him. And they fall into the portal. And Joe is, like, back in the real world. And he's like, okay, I'm back. And then he was like, wait a minute. And his soul went into the cat that was on his lap. And then her soul went into his actual body. So that part was kind of
weird.
But anyway, he's in the cat and she's inside of him. So this is her first, like, life experience is through his body. So she's going places, she hears music. It's in his brain to like music. It's in his being to like music. So she's like, this is pretty nice. And he's trying to tell her, you only like these things because you're in my body. And she's like, whatever,
Pretty much.
And he's in this cat trying to prepare her for his big night to play with the artist. And things not really going so well as far as I can say. So brain fart. So he takes the cat, leads this man to his apartment, and Joe's trying to get 22 dressed in his body and everything, and his clothes don't fit, his hair is all messed up. So a cat tries to line up the man's hairline, puts a big old bald spot like right here. So then the cat leads the man to the y'all get it, cat Joe 22. So
Right.
he go to the barbershop. He's talking to one of his best friends, and 22 is like having real life feelings and emotions. Like she's talking to other people
Right.
through
Heart to
him,
heart.
and she's hitting this spot in other people that Joe has never hit because he's never like seen things like that. So she's just talking, and they're talking to her, and he ended up getting a nice haircut, a lollipop, you know, because 22 is like a kid pretty much still. So she taking lollipops and all that. So then I forgot to mention, when Joe is on the conveyor belt, it's this counter type person, like he makes sure everything is intact, how it's
He's
supposed
an
to be
accountant.
going. Yeah. So he got this what is called a Chinese calculator.
Yeah.
And he putting all the things right, and he's like, wait a minute, somebody's missing. I need to find out who it is. So he go to the other beings in that realm that I talked about, and they're like, they don't know what he's talking about. And he's like, well, I'm gonna figure it out myself. So it's this big room full of files of people's names, and I'm telling you, he had to go through like 1 million.
I had to. And then you couldn't even see all of the files. Like,
It
that's
was
how
just,
endless it was.
Like, just think of the biggest room you could, not even a room. I don't think it had like a stopping point. It just
right.
was
It went on.
endless. So he's looking through all the files, and he finally finds that it's Joe who's supposed to be dead. So he goes to Earth, which is weird. Like, I didn't know you could just leave.
Right. He didn't need a badge to
Yeah.
get to Earth.
So he just goes down there looking for Joe or whatever. So Joe is trying to get back to the hippie, because the hippie, his
I just had a funny
soul,
thought about that.
huh?
I just had a funny thought about that.
About
Like he was official, he was government, and he could do
Yeah,
whatever
he just
wanted
could
to do. He didn't
go
have to
straight
follow
past
the
the
rules.
badges and the classes or whatever, the seminars. So he's trying to find the dude that he met on the ship, the hippie dude, because he's in his actual body. His soul is just resting there while he's flipping this sign outside on the street. So all that said to say, they go to meet him later on that night, and 22 doesn't want to go back. She doesn't want to be a soul anymore. She wants to live life. So she didn't want to give Joe his body back. And Joe was like, what do you mean? You didn't even like life, the thought of
Right.
living before I brought you down here. So she was upset. He's still inside this cat. And I'm drawing a blank. What happened after that?
Well, I thought the next part was where
The man
He
catched
did.
him. The man catch him. So he opened this the dude who didn't need nothing to come to Earth. He just can't. The accountant dude. He comes down. He opens his portal, and they run right into it. He's like, "You thought you got away with it? Nope. You gotta get on to heaven. You out of here. You done." So the mentors, or like the I think the lady's name he met when he got there was like Terry. All of them names was Terry. So he talks to her, and she's like, well, he still gets to take his mentee. I think that's what they call it. Like a mentor and a mentee.
yeah.
So he gets to take her to go to Earth, because she done got her thing, and they didn't even notice that she got her little, what makes her special, what makes her wanna, or what makes her able to be like a living being now. So they go there, and Oh, before that,
But
before that,
Joe
before that,
said
yeah.
some stuff
Joe,
to her.
he was mad because she didn't want to give him the thing no more because she wanted to live. So he was like, I forgot what he said.
You don't have your spark.
He said a little list of hurtful things, and she was like, you know what? Forget it. Maybe I shouldn't live. So she give him her Earth badge. He go down back to Earth. He have his big night with the musician, and everything goes good. And at the end of the night, he's feeling good. He done played his heart out, and he's like, now what? And she's like, we do the same thing tomorrow. And he was like, what? We gonna do what? I'm thinking we about to go on the road, go on tour,
Right.
get famous. We just gonna come back to this same little bar and do the same thing. So after that, he go back home, and he's like, wow. Well, like, what am I doing? I thought this is what I wanted. It's not really hitting like I thought it was. So, like
Hold on, let's put a pause right there.
Pause.
Yeah, like that was a great takeaway too. In the build up, you know, Joe had so much involved in getting to it, whatever it is, you know, for you. And so as an adult, again, I don't know if kids could really relate to it, but I'm sure a lot of adults could, following that thing that you thought you were supposed to do and then getting it and feeling like, now what? You know, thinking that once I attain this, my life will be perfect. Everything will be exactly the way I want it to be, everything I've dreamed of. And so Joe finally had that experience, and then immediately had that letdown. Like,
it was like just the peak for this moment while you in it.
Yeah.
And then come back to reality, you just gonna do the same thing. It's not what you thought it was. And once he, like, yeah, so that was a good, thank you.
Thank you.
So that was a good little point there, but he's like, man, this is all I wanted. Like, this is why I came back to Earth, to just do this and be living how I'm still living. Like, this ain't what I want. So he goes to his house, and if y'all can remember in the beginning, I said when he was in the class, this girl was in her zone. Like, she was lost in the music. She was just vibing. When he goes to the realm, he sees other people like that, along with those people who are depressed and sad and everything. He sees people who are in their zone, like they in their craft, they doing what they love. So in order to get back, he's playing the piano, and he just get lost in it. He let it take him away, playing the piano, and he ends up back in that realm. But people don't know that they're in it when they're in it. But he does, because he's been there or whatever. So he gets back, and he stays in there. He's trying to find 22 to, like, give her thing back. He's trying to take it to her, but he didn't realize she's one of those depressive people now. Like, even though she didn't live a life, her soul, or her, like, pre-soul, or whatever you want to call it.
Her being.
Yeah. Is in that state. Like, she feels like she's useless to the world. She don't have no reason. And she didn't feel that way until Joe berated her the way that he did. Exactly. So Joe was the reason she got into this sad, depressing state, in a sense. So he finds her. He's chasing her because she's running away from him. Because once you in that thing, you don't want to get out of it. Like, it's a struggle to get out of it. Right? Yeah, that was deep too. Because that, to me, was like what people really go through when you are in depression, and it could be based on experiences that you've had. And even though that's not where nobody wants to be there, you can end up in that place of just darkness and nothing matters, and lifelessness, I guess. Pretty much, like, what's my purpose? Right. So, we forgot one part. When 22 was still on Earth with Joe, she got excited at the smallest of things. Like, she was excited about the pizza, the sucker. Yeah. She was excited, like, when the wind blew and she saw the leaves and that. She was really just in that moment. Yeah, like living. Yeah. So He goes back
right.
and finds her, and he's chasing her. He's chasing her. She's running away because she don't want to deal with him because he's the reason. Like, her inner being is still in that depressive state, but she's running away from him because he's the reason, like, that she's all torn up and sad and depressed or whatever.
And the more he chases after her, the more the darkness grows.
Yeah.
Covering her, yeah.
So he's chasing her, and she just explodes pretty much. Like, she's saying all the hurtful things that all her mentors have told her. She's saying the hurtful things that Joe has told her. And he's looking at it like, wow, I really messed up. Like, I shouldn't have treated her like that. You know, everybody deserves a chance to, like, my life has been longer than, you know, most. He was up in age. I think he was about a cool 30, 40.
Yeah, something like that.
So he finally gets to her.
Up in age.
Oh, that wasn't, you know, no shade. You know, it looked young on you.
Oh, thank you, baby. I'll take that.
So he finds her. He finally gets down to her soul itself, without all the hate and all this other stuff. And she's sad. She's like, you were right. I don't have a purpose, this, and that. And he's like, I was wrong. And I forget all the fine details, but he ends up giving her her badge, or it ends up popping up somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
How? Because he lost it trying to chase her and everything. So it ends up popping up. And he's like, I'm sorry, you know, you deserve to go to Earth. Let's go, because he gets to take her there. So he gets to the little Earth portal, and he's like, I'm going to come with you. And she's like, you know, you can't come with me. And he's like, I'm going to go as far as I can. So they hold hands.
That was cool.
That was really nice and sweet. You know, I ain't no sucker, but that was sweet.
Well, I am. And
so they jump in here, and he's going down with her as much as he can. And eventually he starts to float back up because it's his time to go, and she keeps going down or whatever. And then he's back on the conveyor belt. He then finally you know, came to terms with it, and one of the little mentor spirits comes back to him, and they're like, Joe, what you did was, you know, outstanding. You made 22 fine. What makes her her? You did this, and we want to give you another chance. And he's like, wow, like he's astounded because, you know, he don't want to die, but he done came to the point where it's like, it is what it is.
right.
So get to that point, and she's like, so Joe, what are you gonna do when you get back to Earth? And he was like, I don't know, but I think he said something like, I'm gonna make it count, or like something inspirational. And then he goes back through the portal thing, and he goes back to Earth. And I was so upset.
Were you?
I was highly upset. Like, it's cool he get to go back to Earth, but that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Like,
that
it's
you don't
just,
get to see anything else.
like, I'm thinking, okay, Joe gonna, you know, adopt this baby or something, and it's gonna be 22, and it's just gonna, and I'm like, bro, y'all didn't give us nothing. He just go back to Earth, and that's.
I think that was done that way intentionally, so that you can imagine what Joe did when he got back to Earth. Now that he realized that he was hoping to attain to this level to finally live, and when he realized he had been living all along, as he was teaching those kids, as he was having, you know what I'm saying, experiences there on Earth that he already was. So I think he went back and he just had a different mindset about life, and he was ready to live and put everything into it and not wait for this big opportunity in order for his life to start there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to come up with what happened after we last saw Joe, what would you think?
I'm thinking he going back to Earth or whatever, and instead of, you know, fulfilling this dream with this big musician, he would go back to the school, you know, be a role model for the kids, you know, keep teaching them and mold them how he, in a way, molded 22.
Right.
Which was, you know, that's extreme, because that's like dealing with a person with depression.
Mm-hmm.
and you have the power to help them through it, like to get them out of it, to help them find why they're here.
Right.
So I felt like he was gonna go back to Earth, stay a teacher, and maybe one day 22 was gonna, I don't know what her name was gonna be. She was gonna pop back up into school. He was gonna be teaching her, you know, because she hated music as a soul, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, as a human, you know, she might have came around to it, went to his class, and they remembered each other because, you know,
Right.
their souls were
Connected.
friends, I guess. You know, like they had a connection. So I was just, you know, I was highly upset about that part. But other than that, I feel like it was a very touching movie. But I still don't know how kids is gonna relate to that or take it. 'Cause I feel like they're gonna take everything that was said in that movie like serious. Like, mama, where do babies come from? Oh, souls and realms and mama, are you gonna have a attention-seeking baby? Or are you gonna have like? So I really didn't get the child part as far. I mean, except for it being animated, but you know, it was a good movie overall.
Well, I think just like, okay, so I mentioned Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that was a movie, you watched it as a kid. Your level of understanding at that point was one thing, but as you've grown up and you've experienced life, you understand that movie on a whole other level that you didn't when you were young.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that may be an experience that kids now, because that's definitely going to be a classic movie that you rewatch, a Disney movie. So maybe that'll be one where as they grow and develop and navigate through life, that they'll have a deeper level of understanding too.
But I ain't gonna lie, like I say, it's a good movie and everything, but with the way it went from him being alive into that little realm with him as a soul, it kind of caught me off guard because I'm expecting him to get there and then go back to his real life so we could see like real life things and all this stuff. But he was in there for so long, and I'm like, they was kind of losing me. But then I had an open mind. I continued to watch it, and it was good. Like
it did have you though.
It was like, very deep.
Where are they going with this?
Yeah, like okay, souls. Oh, okay, no, what's gonna happen.
I just have to say, like, shout out to Jamie Foxx for the voice that he, brought to Joe. Yeah. Like, it made, even though Joe was an animated character, it made him real, if you understand, what I'm saying. Like, it made you care about what was happening to him. Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all didn't know, Jamie Foxx is the voice of the main character, and I think what's that lady's name?
Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad. I think she's his mother.
Yeah.
And Tina Fey, I think, is 22.
22, yeah.
Yeah, so they got a bunch of big names in there or whatever. But overall, I can say it was a good movie. This is for you to look at. Y'all could give us feedback on how y'all felt about everything once you watch it. I know it's the end of the video, but if you haven't watched it and you're watching this, you already don't know what happened. So I suggest you watch it first and then come watch this.
Well, you said spoiler at the beginning, because if they don't watch this,
I did. I'm gonna just put spoiler in the title, cause
yeah.
But it's a good movie. I suggest you watch it. It had a really deep impact on me. As far as how I continue to live life and everything. It was real touching.
It was.
But other than that, it's been real. It's been Trey, and it's been T-Mac, Mama Bear in the building. And that's it, y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed. This is coming out New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. Hopefully New Year's Eve. If not New Year's, depending on me or my sister. Because we the editors of this thing. We do it big. But anyway, we out, man. Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.
How I forgot that in this my channel. Well,
I got you.
Me and my wife's channel, but in my channel.
Because, see, I'm sitting in for OG Lex. She usually do that.
Yeah, she do, but like I said, man, you know, peace out.